Jump Ball, the podcast exploring the real stories behind high school basketball. I'm your host, Aaron Williams, and today we're talking about mental health amongst student athletes. Whether you're a player, parent, coach, or fan, this is your court too. Let's get it. Support for today's show comes from the Locker Room, a mobile app built to help athletes check in with their mental health. Whether you're stressed, anxious, or just need to get your mind right before a game, this app gives you simple tools, journaling space, and motivation from pros who've been through it. Head to the Locker Room app and use Jump Ball to unlock exclusive features because strong minds make better players. So I have this very special guest, one of my big brothers, who has experience within the basketball community playing and being around the game. Ty Owens, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. Appreciate you having me.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you coming on, man. So this episode is pretty much about the mental health aspect of student athletes and having to balance the workload of being on the basketball court as well as being a student as well as personal life. Something that really gets overlooked. So first, I want to start off by just asking you questions about your background in basketball, how you started, the upbringing, and how you fell in love with the game.
Well, I didn't start playing organized ball to eighth grade, but I always had like an affinity to basketball since I was young. My pops played; he was all state in basketball, so the talent of playing ball just naturally came to me.
Mm.
But I really fell in love with it probably in the 2000s. You know, that was my generation. So watching Tracy McGrady, Allen Iverson, Kobe, those guys kind of influenced me to want to play basketball. And then at the time, you had the N1 mixtapes. So
Yeah,
N1 mixtape volume 3 specifically made me want to go outside, work on my handles. And then my dad was like, I see you out here playing. Like, do you want to play? And I was like, yeah. So I tried out for my school team in the eighth grade and made the team. And that's pretty much how it started for me.
that's what's up, man. And I wanna dive deeper into that. As far as your father and him being successful, all state in basketball, did you feel any type of pressure um, getting into the sport as you grew older? Like, okay, I gotta make sure I try to fill these shoes in the sense of trying to be as great as your father was.
No, not really. Because he never was the type to like put pressure on me and my sister. But my sister played ball too, you know that. But
Yeah,
he never put pressure on us. He kind of just let us find our own way. But he was always supportive with what we wanted to do, and he was there whenever way he could be, as far as teaching us how to play or just showing us stuff on the court and just motivating us to play. So
cool, cool. So as far as the preparation and uh, the upbringing and playing for coaches, how was that experience for you? What was the preparation like? What was the expectations? Were coaches that you played for hard on you? Were they kind of like lenient and let you do your own thing? What was that type of vibe like?
so I say high school was difficult for me because I felt like there was a lot of politics going on, a lot of
Mm,
favoritism. So I didn't feel like I really got a fair shot my high school career.
mm,
I think there's a lot of pressure because you feel like you're being singled out for making one mistake. Everybody gonna make mistakes on the court, but
right.
when that happens to you so many times, you start to kind of play on mental. You start to second guess yourself. So every time you miss a shot, you're looking over at the bench like, you gonna take me out. Or
Yeah,
if anytime you make a mistake, you automatically looking over at the bench instead of just being able to play through your mistakes. So
yeah. That's something that I've experienced too. Playing in high school, a lot of politics, even in the AAU circuit. I tried out for the family, and I
yeah,
had a great tryout, in my opinion, my father's opinion, but I ended up not making the cut. And I was furious at the time, you know what I'm saying? Which caused me to end up eventually playing for the Michigan Playmakers, which was a great AAU organization as well. But yeah, the politics really
yeah.
um, kind of got worse over the years. So I really understand how that feeling of you not getting a fair shot, because I felt the same way, bro.
Yeah,
And
my AAU experience was better than my high school experience
mm,
because I played for ACC Reach over off of
okay,
7 Mile and John R. with
yeah,
Virgil Phillips and Shine Hill. They call him Twig. He was the coach at Persian. But I went over there because I got cut from my team 10th grade.
mm,
I was having a growth spurt, so I wasn't able to like really perform at my full ability because my knees were in pain. But I went over to ACC and Twig, he welcomed me with open arms, man. He the one that like instilled all this confidence in me.
yeah,
You know, when
yeah,
I was going there, I'm like passing up on shots. I'm just playing timid.
right,
He's like, man, get the ball, shoot the ball. You know what I'm saying? Nobody gonna you shoot the ball. I believe in you shooting that ball. I believe in your shot. I believe in your game. So play like you sure when you out here, and that kind of like instilled the confidence in me to play better and just feel free on the court as opposed to just
mhm,
feeling like I have to play a certain way. I was able to play my game with them.
of course. Yeah, that's great to hear, man, because most people don't have a fair shot either or, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? AU, high school, organized and all of that. But you spoke on a little bit about your relationship with your dad and how he basically allowed you to be yourself. Did you have anybody in your corner during that duration of high school where you felt like you didn't get a fair shot that supported you in your mental health, that you were able to vent to and kind of get stuff off of your chest outside the court?
Pretty much all my teammates, because we all was just dealing with some of the same stuff, some more than others, but we was all able to just talk and just chop it up with each other about what was going on and just expressing our grievances, what was happening on the court, off the court. So that kind of felt good to just be able to talk to my brothers who I'm literally going to practice with every day, going to games with every
Hmm.
day about what was going on. Because we all knew what was the real and what wasn't.
Right.
Even some of the parents knew the real what was going on. But it's only so much you can do. Like you don't really have no control. So my attitude was just try to enjoy the rest of the season with my brothers, and then that'd be it.
Of course. Of
Yeah.
course. And I want to get to another subject as far as the balancing, going through your duration of high school basketball. How were your grades at the same time? Did you have a trouble balancing everything as far as academically as well, or did you kind of like uh, adjust accordingly and was able to be successful?
I mean, it was actually pretty easy for me. My parents was like, they didn't play having bad grades. Now, yeah, I kind of certain subjects I would maybe bored, so I wouldn't give my all in certain subjects. I would do enough just to get by. I don't know why I was doing that, but for the most part, I had to have at least a 3.0 in that house.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't even a question. Like 3.0 or better to play
Right.
basketball. If it dropped below that, I wasn't playing.
Of course. Of
Like
course.
that's just what it was. So it was easy for me just because I already knew the expectation from my parents. Now
Right.
some of my friends ain't really had that because basketball was all they had. Like they didn't have anything else outside of that. Me, I knew I got other stuff outside of basketball. I'm gonna be all right. But some of them
Yeah.
like basketball was their life for real. So
Right.
you know,
Yeah, man. So one last question, and I'm gonna kind of make it simple. Going through your experiences, good and bad, through your journey as a student athlete, summarize in one sentence or one phrase coping skills or habits that you would recommend to student athletes today. A mantra, if you will, to help them along their journey navigating as a student athlete.
one sentence to kind of help them navigate. For some reason, know what you're doing it for comes to mind.
Mm.
You know, uh, That's a tough question. Just real, like, be honest with you. But for some reason, know what you're doing it for us will come to mind. So even with me going through like the struggles I went through with the basketball and just not getting the fair shot, in the back of my mind, it's like at the end of the day, I love basketball. I'm doing it because it's something to do and it's fun. And that was kind of like my why at the time. You know, some people why might be different or deeper than my why, but my why was, you know, know what I'm doing it for. And my whole attitude was eventually if I keep showing up, something's gonna change. And that was kind of like my thought process going into dealing with my high school basketball career. Just keep showing up and giving your best.
Of course, man.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful way to sum it up. I want to say thank you to my brother Ty Owens for coming through and giving some valuable insight for mental health and student athletes as a whole. I want to say thank you again. Appreciate you, bro, for coming on and sharing your story.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Jump Ball Podcast with Aaron Williams. Make sure you hit that follow on Instagram at Jump Ball Pod. Make sure y'all subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jump Ball Podcast. Stay tuned for more in-depth interviews, more in-depth talks about high school basketball and the landscape. See y'all next week. Peace.